Welcome back to the Inkwell video review series Love It, Hate It, where we talk about movies that we've seen for those who want an in-depth discussion.
There are spoilers, so viewer beware. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, then come back.
So today we're going to review Captain America, the First Avenger. What did you think?
I thought it was great. I really liked it, better than any other superhero movie that I've seen in a long time. It was certainly better than anything else that's been out this summer, and I will tell you why, is because they really did the setting well. They played it out, the World War II thing. I got into the World War II thing. You get into the World War II thing?
I did.
I liked it as far as, it certainly had the atmosphere. You got the, I don't know, there's something about war movies and it's always raining in them or cloudy and overcast, and it was certainly cloudy and overcast. You just got the atmosphere. The way people worked and ran around the camp, and certainly the scenes in the city. And when he's part of, I guess it's the USO, or I'm not sure if they had the USO then, but whatever the heck he's doing, and he's selling bonds, all of that was very nostalgic. It
was, and I think that worked well for the movie. I think that's the main difference between this and all the others, is this is set in the past, and they hired Joe Johnston, the director of The Rocketeer, to come back and do 1940s, and he also worked with Spielberg on Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And that definitely comes through.
Definitely. So I think that kind of drives the film and makes it different. Another huge difference I see with the movie is the fact that you actually, I'm not saying you don't care about Tony Stark or any of the others, but you legitimately care for Steve Rogers.
Oh, he's very human. Whenever it's almost like when he gets rescued very early in the film during the alleyway fight. I hate to sound sadistic, but I kind of wanted him to take that pummeling and then just land one on the jerk who was being. And when Bucky showed up, I was actually kind of disappointed.
Bucky.
Bucky. Poor Bucky.
I think the scene that did it for me, and I like him all through, but it's when Tommy Lee Jones as the Colonel throws the grenade out. But it's such a selfless act. And Tony Stark wouldn't do that.
Oh, hell no.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's such a selfless act, and I think that's when, from there on, he had me. I mean, you completely care for the character, and I had reservations when Chris Evans was first cast, knowing that he would ultimately have to lead the Avengers, this huge cast, including Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo. But he convinced me. That scene alone.
I think he convinced I think one of the things that made it really good was that there was this character interaction. He didn't just convince us. We could see him convincing the people around him. We didn't keep seeing that, well, he can't do anything. He's not right for this after that. That's probably the moment where he gets the love interest.
Probably, too,
and it's not because he was Mr. He-Man woman hater and stood up and did some amazing feat of strength. It's because he jumped on a grenade and then he flailed about like an idiot going, "No, get away!"
Right. But see, that whole...
Looked just like that.
It did. It looked just like that.
I could be in that movie.
You could. You could. Just put the hair down.
Exactly.
I think that, the whole, the transition from Skinny Steve to Captain America, was perfect, and he had Stanley Tucci driving some scenes. He had Tommy Lee Jones is great. Actually, he's comic relief with the great one-liners, but Chris Evans himself did a great job, and the transition, you care about him, and when he turns into Captain America, he doesn't change. I mean, he does physically, but other than that, he doesn't really change, and you still like Captain America. You still connect with him.
Definitely.
And the whole chase from, I think that was, I was engaged when he turns into Captain America, and of course, Stanley Tucci dies, and I love Stanley Tucci, I do, but the whole, when he points to the heart, and I'm glad that we can just, skip that cliched speech and just go straight to the action scene. But when he first, he's finally able to do the stunts, to do the physical stuff that Steve Rogers could never do before, I was completely into it, and I enjoyed that. And I think that the whole 1940s aspect of the film, it had a great nostalgic factor there, but also it made for a good story and good action.
And it's not what you normally expect in an action film. It isn't over the top.
It's not.
It's subdued. And when I see an explosion in that movie, I was like, oh, that's refreshing. That was a surprisingly small explosion.
Right.
It didn't cause a chain reaction.
It wasn't over the top.
That caused the entire base to them have to rush out of the base with like, oh, we have 30 seconds to make it out of here. And then everyone goes, no, no, it's...
I loved it. It goes back to X-Men Origins Wolverine. Everything was so over the top, and you couldn't enjoy the movie. This was nothing like that, and I enjoyed it.
Nothing at all.
In fact, if anything was over the top, I'd have to say it'd be a person, Red Skull. And
very over the top.
I love Hugo Weaving. Agent Smith in the first Matrix, the one and only. Agent Smith, you know, Hugo Weaving is great, and the only effects shot of the entire movie that I felt didn't mesh well is when he takes off his face and you see the close-up shot of the skull for the first time, and it didn't mesh well.
I think that the timing of taking the mask off was really poor. He's sort of like he's digging around it, and you can see the actor actually struggling in that moment to get, and it just destroyed the moment for me. And then you get it off, and the only thing you're struck by is, where's his nose?
Is this Voldemort with red face paint? What's going on? I think that it just took you kind of a little out of the moment, and they tease you enough with it that when it's finally the big reveal, it's okay. But, you know, I liked Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. I'm just saying, if anything was overblown, it was that character. And I thought that everything was well written, everything was well paced, except for the ending scene. And I'm not saying it was bad, it had to happen. But with the demise of Red Skull, for some people, I swear there was people behind me going, what just happened? Because the beam of light comes out of nowhere and takes him. It's like, is he? Because I guarantee you, they just saw Thor earlier in the summer. And they're like, so is Red Skull in Asgard now? What's going on?
I was very engaged for that entire scene. I actually was perfectly okay with Red Skull dying that way. And I'll tell you why. Because Captain America isn't like the other superheroes. We aren't supposed to think of him like the other superheroes, where he's doing these wonderful, glorious things for my banner. His banner is supposed to be idealism or something.
I can get that, and I thought that, you know, it was engaging. I just didn't care for that particular aspect of it. And that said, the ending with him waking up in Times Square, we didn't wake up in Times Square, but him running out in Times Square, and even the appearance of Nick Fury didn't throw me off. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good ending, and overall, I think that the film was very good compared to other superhero films. The 1940s aspect was dead on, and I really enjoyed it and can't wait for the Avengers.
What did you think? Let us know by posting your comments, and to see more videos like this one, you can check our YouTube channel, Inkwell News. Thanks for watching. Hey.